following program is rated G. It is suitable for all audiences.
This program is supported by Bank of Commerce, an affiliate of San Miguel Corporation. We think customers. BMEG Premium at Protect Plus Gold. Sama-sama sa laban, walang iwanan.
Welcome to Open for Business. Mapapanood nyo rin ang programang OFB sa Facebook at YouTube. Mag-like at mag-subscribe sa aming social media at Net25 TV. I am Cesar Vallejos. Samahan ninyo kaming tuklasin ang iba't ibang pamamaraan kung paano mapaunlad ang inyong negosyo. Aalamin din natin mula sa mga eksperto ang mga pangunahing trends at mga estratehiya kung paano natin mapapanatili ang negosyo maliit man o malaki ay maging laging open for business. Hindi makukumpleto ang kada umaga ng walang mainit at masarap na kape. Subalit ngayong may ECQ, karamihan sa mga nasa establishmento na ating iniinuman ng masarap na kape ay sarado rin. MSMEs again are affected by the lockdowns. Small businesses should continue learning new strategies, including keeping up with the digitalization to survive the pandemic. In this episode, we will be given tips on how to remain persistent amidst the trials and challenges we, including our businesses, face. With our guest, Mr. Eric Lim, the COO of Conlin's Coffee. All this episode of Open for Business.
Sa panahon na laganap ang mga sakit, katuwang nyo ang BMEG Premium at Protect Plus Gold. Gawa sa state-of-the-art facilities ang BMEG Premium Feeds. Kaya ito ay safe, sanitized, and hygienic. Walang dalang sakit, certified, malinis, sariwa at sigurado. At para laging malinis ang paligid, gumamit ng Protect Plus Gold. Isang safe broad-spectrum disinfectant na pumapatay ng mga virus, bacteria at fungi. BMEG Premium at Protect Plus Gold. Sama-sama sa laban, walang iwanan.
Kada umaga, sarap ng umaga, magkakasama. Kada umaga, sarap ng umaga, magkakasama. Kada umaga.
Open for Business is back, and with me is the COO of Conlin's Coffee, Mr. Lloyd Eric Lim. How are you, Lloyd?
I am doing great. Kumusta po? Kayo?
Mabuti rin, at napaka-paborito ko ang topic ngayon dahil coffee lover ako. So hindi kompleto ang aking araw kung walang kape. Sometimes, as we both know, Lloyd, di ba? Parang umuulan-ulan, masarap magkape. So if you can somehow also share us what coffee is to you as the one who makes coffee for every one of us.
Coffee is a lot of different things. I think coffee is very personal. Kasi sabihin lang natin na bawat isang tao meron silang mga paborito, sariling preferences. So parang madami kang malalaman sa tao depende kung anong klaseng kape yung iniinom din nila. So coffee is very personal. It's a ritual with some people. Siyempre, yung iba nagtitimpla, madaming mga brew methods pwede natin sabihin. So may brewed, may espresso, yung ibang tao nag-instant coffee, may cappuccino, latte, madami na ngayon mahilig mag-pour over. So talagang malawak na rin yung sabihin lang natin yung coffee experience. So I would say it's a ritual and it's a personal journey for me at least.
Eric, that's very interesting. You said coffee is a personal thing. That is very interesting in the sense that in my case, for example, basta kape, di ba? Basta meron ako mainom na kape, okay na. But to some people, they're very specific as to what type of coffee. 'Di ba? Sinabi mo nga, you mentioned different types of coffee. Tapos and even doon sa lalagyanan nila, 'di ba? Sometimes it's also something ceremonial or coffee making or coffee preparation to them is a big deal. It's like a ceremony, kada umaga, 'di ba? Then we want that. So can you somehow describe, because you mentioned about, something personal, how is coffee or how does, coffee and coffee making, coffee drinking describe your personality? Meron ka bang in over 2 decades, being in the coffee industry, dito ba natitest mo, nalalaman mo yung personalidad ng tao dahil sa iniinom niyang kape?
I think depende din yan eh. Kasi kunyari na nga, yung ibang tao, meron ka makikilala na sabihin nila, hindi umpisa yung araw nila kung hindi sila magkape. Tapos tanongin mo sa kanila, anong klaseng kape gusto nyo? Maski alin, basta may amoy kape, lasang kape, happy na siya. Whereas yung ibang tao naman, yung syempre, parang mas importante sa kanila yung grind size, yung origin, yung oras ng pag-pour nila. So parang mas meticuloso sila sa ginagawa nila. Siyempre, kasi minsan yung mga kape na ginagamit din nila, mas mahal. Kasi when we talk about parang yung spectrum din ng kape na ginagastos mo, meron ka yung instant, may premium, meron specialty. So siyempre kung nagagastos ka ng parang mahalin na ingredients, yung kape for example, gusto mong i-extract ng maayos, hindi lang yung pwedeng ibahala lang. So,
okay.
There, I think we can also look into, parang sabihin natin na, kunyari, lagi ka on the go. Siyempre, wala kang oras mag-manual or mag-pour over. So usually, yung hinahanap mo yung mabilisan, baka sabihin mo mag-espresso ka or mag-instant ka. Kung sabihin mo na nasa kotse ka, tapos kailangan mo magtimpla ng kape, anong iinumin mo? Alangan may espresso machine ka sa kotse.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting. Now, businesses like you, since you represent a big chunk also of the small businesses, the medium-sized businesses in the Philippines, naharap na naman tayo sa ECQ. So hindi na naman natin inakala, kahit nga po kami dito sa media, we never realized that it will be declared again because of the surge of cases and with the new variants like the Delta variant. Ngayon, bilang isang negosyante, to open or not to open? That is the question. So alam ko na mabigat para sa inyo ito ng mga negosyante, lalo na yung mga, I think, affected din yung sa mga restaurants at sa mga may business operations sa labas. What's your insight on that question? To open or not to open?
I think, para sa akin opinion ko lang to.
Go ahead.
I think one of the key things that yung kailangan natin pag-isipan, mula nung I think nangyari nung first lockdown, a lot of companies had to evaluate their operations. Right? Now, when you're looking at your operational costs, doon ka titingnan kung ano ba yung kailangan mo para maka-break even ka. Right? Kasi kung magbubukas ka lang tapos palugi ka pa, masasayang ka, parang nagsayang ka pa ng pera. right? Now, you look at where things are now. A lot of parang sabihin natin, if you're a small business owner, nagbukas ka ng sariling negosyo mo doon sa, let's say, garahe mo. I think that was one of the most common things that happened during the lockdown, which I think was very smart. Now, the question behind that is, kung wala ka naman lugi, wala ka naman operational cost na parang rental or whatnot, it doesn't hurt. Kasi nandiyan na eh.
Yes.
Now, if you have to, like other businesses, doesn't have the luxury of owning the land that they're operating on, that's when you start thinking, magkano yung igastos mo versus magkano yung kita mo sa isang araw, right? Sabihin lang natin na, kunyari, yung rental mo, yung ibang yung landlords, hindi naman i-waive yung rental mo. So, maski yun ang mangyayari, babayad ka pa rin. So, sa isang araw, parang kung hindi, mas malaki pa yung baka malugi mo kung hindi ka magbukas. Right? Pero the other thing, if you're the person, kung ikaw yung nagbabantay sa sariling shop mo, pero kung may staff ka, let's say, bukod sa rental, may kuryente, may cost of goods sold, meron ka din mga, say, nagpasok ka ng 3 tao, kailangan mo rin naman ipasahod yung tao. So, doon ka, parang bibilangin mo, ilan yung parang makukuha mo sa isang araw, ilang transactions makukuha mo sa isang araw, versus magkano yung gastos mo. I think that's one of the things that you can control naman, or parang pagiging mo yung mga numero. I think that's one of the key things that would help you determine whether or not it's worthwhile operating. Tsaka, I think one of the challenges that we've all faced during the lockdown, kunyari, walang trabaho, sabihin lang natin, anong gagamitin mo pambili ng pagkain? Anong gagamitin mo pang... So it's a lot of variables that is very unique to each person. So, but I would say you have to evaluate what you have and work with what you have.
You know, that's a good point, Eric, because I think what you're saying is there has to be a very critical assessment on your bottom lines, on what would impact to you on a personal note, and to your business, and to the workers who are working for you. As a matter of fact, you know, the next question that I have is, of course, you know, this new lockdowns will somehow disintegrate a lot of jobs. There will be, again, people who will be losing their jobs, and you know, minsan sa ibang mga negosyante, medyo traumatic na rin ito, di ba? Dahil kumbaga yung iba, nung medyo naka-experience na ng nag-open up yung economy, medyo nagaganahan na sila. So nag-open up ulit sila, nagbukas sila, you know, and then they launch again. But in your case, Eric, na maganda yung sinabi mo na you have to assess on, you know, the impact to your bottom lines. How do you continuously survive? Minsan is it, and are you getting your inspiration from, you know, the decades of experience that you have, or are you getting the inspiration also from, you know, anything digital? Kasi siyempre kayo, mga batang mga businessmen, medyo mas malikot kayo mag-isip, mas mabilis kayo, mas you are very responsive to, you know, the needs of the market. What are your strategies to, sabi nga nila, pivot, di ba? Parang sila, ang bilis. But yung iba, at ang mga natatakot nga dito, di ba? Yung mga malalaking kumpanya, mas matagal pa silang gumalaw. Although, we see now, Eric, that, you know, even the big companies are very fast in responding to these challenges.
That parang mabigat yung tanong eh, kasi that can be answered in multiple levels kung titingnan mo talaga. Right? Let's say, for example, just going back to the idea of how parang ngayon babalik tayo sa
ECQ.
ECQ ulit. I think a lot of people have considered, parang this is third time na, di ba? So parang natuto na rin tayong lahat with regards to what happened in the previous years. Or the previous years na pala. Imagine mo, kada ko ilang buwan lang, ilang taon na pala. I think during the first ECQ, a lot of companies parang na-shock talaga sila. So I think the impact was more detrimental at that time because syempre, hindi natin ma-expect. Parang hindi pa natin alam anong mangyayari sa rest of the year. So kunyari, yung mga stock, madaming mga kumpanya na nag-overstock dahil hindi naman nila maakala na ganito katagal yung lockdown. So ibig sabihin na ipit yung cash flow nila sa inventory na hindi nila magagalaw. Now, a few people, kung tulad ng kunyari, perishable yung goods mo, kawawa ka. Kasi if ever sabihin lang natin, nagbebenta ka ng manok na frozen, anong gagawin mo sa yung inventaryo mo na manok? Right? So, from there, I think a lot of people, kind of businesses looked into sabihin nila, o sige, nga now, we can't overstock on inventory. Kasi cash flow yung mas importante ngayon eh. So pabilisan ng yung cash flow. Kung the more liquid you are, the easier it is to pivot. Parang gagalaw ka. Parang I think that's one of the challenges with bigger companies, di ba? Kasi kung nasa taas yung kumpanya, kung gagalaw sila parang on a micro level, kailangan nila maintindi yung mga structures. Parang hindi naman nila pwedeng ma-bypass yung systems or yung steps. Kasi syempre, there needs to be traceability and accountability with everything. So that's the problem why some larger companies are slower to adapt. Right?
Eric, you mentioned about cash flow management. And I always hear this from businessmen like you. Cash is king, lalo na ngayon. The thing is, with this temporary closures of businesses, with these new lockdowns, do you think, small businesses can survive? And in terms of cash flow management, ano yung pwede nilang gawin? Ano yung pwede nilang gagawin dapat? Ano yung ginawa nila dapat? Para alam mo yun, mangyayari na ito ulit eh. Hindi natin alam kung they said, we heard before that, somehow after the vaccines, meron na, okay na yan, mag-open up na tayo. So, kumbaga yung business continuity na tinatawag nila, di ba, na kumbaga at least ang business continuity mo, may pang isang taon, di ba? Tapos, but, may lumabas ulit yung mga bagong variants kahit yung mga bansa, di ba, na nag-open up na, muli ulit na naghihigpit at bumabalik tayo ulit. So, for small businesses who cannot survive, these temporary closures, ano dapat ang paghahandaan na nila para sa mga susunod na mangyari ito ay alam na nila yung dapat gawin?
Well, okay. It's a hard reality, and I normally don't want to say this, but sa totoo lang, when you look at it from a business perspective, part of winning is also learning when to walk away. Right? And it's a very challenging decision to make. Because sabihin lang natin na you have to evaluate how to survive. Kung kaya ba, and is it worthwhile? Right? Kasi sabihin lang natin na kung, and again, it's very dependent on case-by-case scenario. Right? Now, if you're a small business and then prior to the pandemic, yung negosyo mo medyo, let's say, tumatabingit na. Right? You were, parang hirap ka magbayad sa mga suppliers mo, yung cash flow mo, parang the business owner should be able to learn to know when to walk away kaysa lalo pa siya magpapahimik. Because I think we always have that idea where once you're in it, yung parang tutuloyin mo hanggang, yung persevere until you succeed. And I think part of business is also learning when to walk away. Because
I agree.
Where there's no point in running a business kung malulugi ka lang. Right? You have to be profitable. That should be the most important thing if you're gonna run a business. Hindi, parang syempre, sabihin ng mga ibang tao, kawawa naman yung customer mo, kawawa naman. Pero, sino mo nagsasabi, kawawa ka naman. Anong gagamitin mo pang kakain sa sarili mo? Right? And no one will say that. That, sabi nila, you have to make it work. But if it's not working to start with, maybe this is a sign that you should reconsider or restructure what you currently have so that you can make it work. Baka noon, hindi mo napansin na yung, let's say, mga produkto mo, baka yung menu mo, yung mga niluluto mo, baka walang market doon sa lugar ninyo na walang gustong kumain ng tacos. Baka hindi mahilig ng mga tao sa Mexican food. Diba, kailangan mo talaga i-consider na ano ba talaga yung hinahanap ng tao? Because more so na right now, a lot of businesses parang need to look into community-based. I think one of the key things that they have to look into is what is around them. Parang more so kung nasa ECQ tayo, sabihin lang natin na yung ibang mga pinupuntahan ng mga kapitbahay nyo, hindi na nila mapupuntahan ngayon. So, ano yung nandoon yung parang let's say you're a bubble community. I know it sounds weird, but if you're somebody who's trying to figure out what you can offer, you look at your skills. What can you provide and what can you offer? And then what is the demand? Ano ba yung nakukulang dito sa tabi ninyo? Okay? Sabihin lang natin, kung walang nagbebenta ng bubble tea, dahil malayo yung mga nagtitinda ng bubble tea, bukas pa ng bubble tea.
I like Eric. I like your responses because that is also what's happening in our community. So may gusto kang kainin, pero wala kasing nag-o-offer doon. But here is a flyer that I saw, or here is there's a Facebook in the community, in the condo, and I saw. I know that it's free delivery and it offers, that kind of, as you said, it's more of the demand of the market. Kumbaga parang nakita ng iba na kumbaga parang they can serve that market and they can serve the community. Dati hindi naman kami bumibili halimbawa doon sa supplier na yon, but because of the demand and the nearness of it. Kasi parang sabi mo nga, you have to serve that community. Pero ang gusto kong itanong, Eric, is siyempre ang coffee industry, matagal ka na dyan at I'm sure you had this innovations na on how to prepare coffee, make coffee, make every coffee different from another type of coffee. So what is that innovation that you did in the coffee business para magtuloy-tuloy pa rin yung negosyo? Ang kagandahan naman sa kape, hindi talaga mawawala ang kape, di ba? Parang maaring mapalitan ang brand, magpalit ka ng brand, pero nandyan lagi yan at hinahanap yan, parang tubig. Although, some may disagree with me, but siguro dahil I'm a coffee lover and that's why I'm saying this. But, because you mentioned about, kasi parang ang maganda yung sinabi mo na business is also thinking of a way or that point where you have to rethink and create or rethink your business model maybe and move or pivot to another business model that suits your passion. Sa kape, paano nyo ginawa ang innovations and changes sa business models to survive?
I think if you were to look at it from how things were moving, we're a lot. Philippines was a lot where to adapt to online shopping. It took us a while just because we had such a very strong malling culture. I think that was parang ingrained na yan sa atin. Kunyari, weekend, anong gagawin nyo? Mamasyal sa mall. Diba? Now, and I think that was one of the reasons why a lot of, parang sabihin natin sa ibang bansa, the malls were namamatay na dahil madaming nag-online shopping. But here, we have the idea na gusto natin pa rin mahawakan yung produkto, makita yung produkto bago natin bibilhin. I think that there was a movement. Siyempre, kailangan eh. It's not like parang napilit tayo into it and it's become almost a norm for us now to parang go into a digital shopping world. Diba? Kunyari, malungkot ka, anong gagawin mo? Mag-shopping. So, noon, kasi sabihin nila, go to the mall. Sabihin nila, add to cart. Diba? And it made a lot of transactions possible. Siyempre, not everyone sumusunod doon. Yung mga mas matanda, parang mas conservative sila, mas prefer pa rin nila pumunta doon sa actual store para makita yung produkto bago nila bibilhin. And that's fair. There will always be a market for that. But I think a lot of the younger people have pivoted towards online presence. And I think that that's one of the things that yung kailangan natin to talk about, right?
Wow, Eric, I like these very practical tips, for entrepreneurs that you are sharing. This is not only for established entrepreneurs, but also for startups. And also, these are very critical ideas on how to, as you mentioned, be consistent in terms of your quality, in terms of the quality of your offerings. Now, you touched earlier about the importance of digital, especially now that with the ECQs again, all the viewers, all the customers are in their homes. So, gaano ba ka-importante ang para sa mga entrepreneurs, sa mga small businesses na i-embrace din ang digital transformation at digitalization? Marami na ang na biktima ng hindi pagiging handa, in terms of embracing digitalization. So, what are your insights on digitalization, and how are technology companies like our partner in Open for Business, Globe Business, how are digital solutions of these companies and the other digital offerings help you sustain and survive the pandemic, lalo na ngayon itong 2 linggo na ECQ at ang balita namin, balita lang naman. There are other areas that will also be under ECQ, but there are some talks that it may be extended. Hindi natin alam. We are not announcing in this program, but there might be, there are voices, di ba? There are voices from different sectors, di ba? Business and also our government officials that we really have to do this, to really help us make sure, that we will be, and this will not, spread, the new variant.
Well, a few things. Number one, I think it's important to have a digital presence. Kasi tanong ko sa'yo, when was the last time you opened a phone book?
My phone book? The last time? Hindi na masyado yata. Hindi ko na na-open. Wala na. Maybe last year? When I changed my computer?
Kasi I think right now, first and foremost, you have to put everyone looks things up digital na eh. Titingin talaga, kunyari, hahanapin mo yung phone number, may hahanapin ka ng supply. Digital, hahanapin nila yung phone number muna doon. So if you don't have a digital presence, hindi ka makikita. Kasi parang sa alam ko, ilang tao na lang yata yung nag-order ng mga phone book para makahanap ng mga phone number. Usually, sabihin nila, hahanapin ko na lang yan sa internet research, di ba?
And sorry, Erica, I was referring to my phone book on my mobile, not the phone book. Phone book wala na akong nakikita na literal physical phone book, wala na yata. Yon. I don't see anything like that anymore.
Wow.
My phone book on my mobile. Yes, kasi di ba we have a phone book also. Ayan. Okay.
I think that was one of the things. Yung parang you have to have, parang dapat mahanap ka man ng tao. If ever, you have to have some sort of, kunyari may negosyo ka, you have to have presence. Right? And then when you start, yung sunod na gagawin mo doon is, again, you have to find the right partners. Right? Part of finding your partners is the same thing what your customers are looking for. Kung ano man yung hinahanap mo sa partners, yun din yung hinahanap ng mga customer mo. So, consistency, reliability, and quality. Community. Those are things that you want to make sure that you are, in my opinion, considering when you choose certain things. I think more so na we're locked down, a lot of people are very reliant on the internet. And communication. I think networks are very important to us. Right? Yung parang, how do you call your customers? How do you reach out to customers? How can your customers reach out to you? Right? So there's a lot of things that you want to make sure that when you're considering your partner. You want to make sure that they can deliver these things. Kasi, again, as I said, wag mong pagbintangan yung ibang tao. If it's your business, you take responsibility for it. So, wag mo sabihin dahil si supplier ganito, itong nangyari. Ay, dahil na wala po ako connection dito, kaya nga hindi ko po na-replyan yung message. No?
That's right.
It will always be boiling down to finding partners na hindi ka mapapahiya. So whoever you work with, you need to make sure that they are there. For example, for us, we were depending on which scope you want to talk about. Kasi a lot of our employees are now working from home. So if you're working from home, we've always been working with Globe, and now that they've done the Globe My Business, they started consolidating a lot of their billing. Kasi noon, prior to yung phone billings namin, so we have parang phone plan plus data. Kasi syempre, our sales need to they're working from home, right? So each beforehand, prior to, yung nangyayari yung mga billing, hiwalay-hiwalay. So now I think last year yata, they consolidated everything into parang online, digital billing na rin. So it's a lot easier. Parang part of running a business is also streamlining your operations, right? So by having just one bill, para nakikita mo na lahat, saves you time. Kasi syempre kung negosyo mo, oras importante din eh. Kasi hindi ka na pwedeng magpupo ng isang buong maghapon ka, naghahanap ka ng mga billing, or sabihin lang natin na madalas, again, going back to our problems with regards to mail noon, sabihin natin, ay nawala, ay hindi po napadala pa, ay na-deliver na ba? Kasi syempre, hindi consistent yung mail service. Whereas if it's a digital service, sabihin nila, na-email na po yung billing, kung nakuha po ninyo, parang bukod sa email, may text message pa. So parang it makes sure that you're aware of a lot of things. Kasi minsan, kung gumagawa, nasa negosyo ka, nawawala din naman sa isip mo, hindi mo naman iisipin, doon na ba yung bill ko? A lot of those things are very helpful with regards to doing daily operations once things are consolidated. Right? Sorry, go ahead.
You mentioned this critical factor on selecting good partnership, and I agree with you. We really select a good partner to advance all our initiatives, and sabi nga nila in terms of the element of technology partnership, this is the time where we should always be connected. Diba? Parang we should everything, especially everybody, the whole world is connected via the internet. And in terms of partnership, we needed reliable partners like Globe Business. My question with the Globe Business is this: with your experience, Eric, was it seamless? Are these solutions easy to implement? Are these user friendly? Are the digital solutions require you to change your platforms, or are these digital solutions easily customizable to your needs?
Well, again, it will vary depending on the business you're at. But for me naman, it's very straightforward. Once you set it up naman, kunyari na planchado, it's part of the setup of any business that you have. You just have to transition over to it. So parang it'll take probably 1 day. Parang kung hahanapin mo sino yung kakausapin mo, depending on ano yung needs mo, syempre sasabihin mo ano yung kailangan mo. More so, I think with a lot of companies being diversified, parang hindi lang isang produkto yung binibenta nila. Kunyari sabihin lang natin na kung magbubukas ka ng restaurant, lahat bibentahin na sa'yo. Anong kailangan mo? Karne, baboy, lechon, manok. It's a lot easier to consolidate everything with one company than to have multiple suppliers. Kasi, syempre, at least isang delivery na. Kung alam mo naman, mapapagtiwalaan mo yung kumpanya na supplier mo, lagi na sigurado na mo, hindi ka parang mapapahiya. Right? I think depending on what platform kunyari, set up a store via Facebook, magtitinda ka. again, smaller setups kasi syempre kung magbubukas ka ng mas malaking setup, madaming mga bureaucratic processes din yan na kailangan mo din intindihin. Hindi ako masyadong gamay sa mga bagong mga requirements. Syempre, yung iba nagre-require daw ng business permit, tapos di ba naalala mo pa yung banggit pa yung gobyerno noon na pati yung online sellers up to X amount magpapayo. So doon medyo kailangan mo pag-aralan yun. Right? Pero with regards to kunyari sabihin lang natin, online transactions, there's online cash transfers, di ba? Hindi mo na kailangan pumunta ng banko. I think that was one of the biggest changes that a lot of people had to adapt to. Yung, actually not too far naman, kasi noon may, yung parang load, nagpapadala ng load, di ba? So kaysa load ngayon, parang Gcash na ngayon.
Yes, like you can easily, transfer money via Gcash, and it makes transactions very fast and very easy. Now, Eric, we're almost in 1 hour of interview with you is really not enough, because we're learning a lot of insights, lalo na sa mga maliliit na negosyante din na gusto nilang patuloy na makapag-survive dahil sa ECQ at sa pandemic. My last questions, Eric, would be ano ang maipapayo mo sa mga maliliit na negosyante na they're also some are on the brink of giving up. Some are really planning to close their shops again. What are your tips, to encourage them to continue hanging on? And what are your maybe top 3 advice, entrepreneurial advice that you can share so that they too can survive the ECQ and the pandemic, Eric?
Kung tatlo lang, baka hindi ko mapipisa sa tatlo, but I'll try.
Okay, go ahead.
First thing that they have to do is evaluate what they have, right? Consider whether they want to push through with regards to their business, right? They have to be practical with it, with their observation, whether it is something that is worth investing more in, right? I think that's one of the key things that they have to look at, whether or not, or how they can restructure what they currently have, right? Now, if it's their passion and it's something that they really believe in, they need to look at is they need to find additional investment and look at their cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
When they talk about additional investment, you look at 2 things. You can either look into partnerships, or you will have to look into your own pockets. I think with regards to a lot of businesses, we have to, a lot of the owners need to invest back into their business, right? If they need to add cash flow, sometimes they might not be able to rely on other people. And if it's something that they need to do just in order to get by, because they know that the business itself does have growth potential in the long run, right? So from there, they look at their, parang nagtagay na sila ng pera, they have to make sure that their cash flow is okay. I think if you don't have proper cash flow, you're not going to, parang sabihin lang natin, you need to survive this quote-unquote drought until things start to normalize and open up. And that might require you to talk to your parents, talk to your family to see whether they're willing to invest in your company. Right?
Wow.
Hindi ibig sabihin parang kukunin mo tapos salamat. It means that you talk to them and say, hey, either do you want to be partners with me with this, or they will charge you a small interest. Parang wag ka naman magpalubog na interest. Siyempre, pamilya naman. So, if ever, a small interest that you will return back to them by the time money, parang umiikot na yung pera ulit. Right? So, once you look at that, I think that's one of the things that you would consider to find additional sources of income. Now, keep in mind, if ikaw naman yung in-approach, you have to also freely give the money out. Right? Don't let money ruin relationships. Right? Kung ikaw magpahiram ng pera, maski kung pinangako ng tao na ibabalik sa inyo, for lack of a better word, kung hindi man mabalik, don't hold it personally. Parang, kasi kung hindi man bumalik, parang you're also in an excess, you can give the money out. Hindi naman ikaw yung magugutom. Right? Kasi I've seen so many relationships break apart because of money. Mga magkakapatid, magkaaway dahil dyan. Now, you have to be transparent with it. Right? Kung sabihin mo sa kanino ka humiram ng pera o ibabalik ko yung pera after ganito katagal plus X amount of interest. Diba? Then you have to be upfront. Sa kung araw na yun, kung babalikin mo na yung pera, balik na dapat talaga siya. And lastly, I think you need to consider how you will get your business out. Parang nakakahanap ka din. Right? Who is your target segment? Parang kunyari, sabihin na natin nakatira ka sa condo. How can you make sure that everybody in that condo kilala ka? Right? So that they will know that this product is now available. Right? Whether you do it through Facebook, maglagay ka ng flyer, parang however your channels of communication, because you have to remember that we're now being condensed together, right? Parang kunyari, kung yung negosyo mo nasa Pasay, huwag ka na masyadong umasa na yung customer mo mga galing sa Cebu. Mahirap yun. Because the number of customers right now that you would be looking for are in your periphery. Yung nasa tabi mo lang. Yung parang, more so that if you're a small business. Because when you're actually a small business, your operational costs are technically lower. Kasi you're, parang cash ka agad yan eh. Hindi ka naman nagpapautang. Oh, wag ka magpautang. If you're a small business, you need cash. You can't have your money left in accounts receivable. Kasi kung naka-accounts receivable lang yan, wala ka rin magpang-ikot. Hindi mo naman pwede ipasa yung AR mo sa ibang supplier mo. Sabi mo, sa kanya ka na lang sumingil. May utang yan sa akin.
Yeah, Eric, I'm sorry we're running out of time, but this is really something very enlightening. I like your very straightforward responses. They're very practical. They're very pragmatic. As COO of Conlin's Coffee, what's your outlook in the coffee industry and of the economy? I know that you probably will not respond that you are not an economist, but as an entrepreneur, ano yung nakikita mo na outlook para sa inyong industriya at sa ating ekonomiya?
I think for the coffee industry here, a lot of people are setting up their own coffee shops because of the pandemic. So there's definitely a growth in worse. Madalas yung mga tao nakakapalit sa bahay. So, and a lot of, parang sabihin lang natin, a lot of people are opening up, utilizing what they normally are not non-profit generating spaces, and they're converting it into parang profit generating spaces. Makikita mo madaming neighborhood coffee shops na nakikita mo na that's emerging, which is really nice to see. Maganda makita na parang yung, let's say, garahe nila, ginawa nilang kainan, ginawa nilang restaurant, ginawa nilang cafe, maganda na yung, it's a nice innovation that has come out of such a tragic situation, right? A lot of people are becoming more independent to their own incomes, right? Yung parang saan sila makakuha. Hindi sila nag-aasa lang sa yung anong makukuha nila. So it's brought on a lot of creativity from people. It's brought on a lot of ingenuity. How things will look. As I said, a lot of home brew is happening. Definitely more smaller independent shops, which is good. Right? Now, I just want to make sure that when people open an independent shop, they also look at, parang syempre, some people open it out of passion. Right? That's their dream. But I also want to remind people that your dream should also generate revenue. Right? Don't let your dream dig you under a hole. Right? Huwag ka naman magpalugi doon sa dream mo. Okay lang kung you parang, if you have excess. But if this is your livelihood, make sure that you think of the back end as well. Hindi lang lagi ka lang yung parang nagbebenta. Yung parang yung mga finances mo, it's important to look at your finances and to have somebody that you trust oversee your finances. Kasi syempre, kung you're doing operations lagi, baka yung mga finances hindi mo napapansin masyado, tapos napapapayaan lang. Right? So you have to make sure that you're looking at it from a financial perspective as well. Yeah, I think with regards to how the economy is going to be, I don't know. Mahirap masabi kasi syempre, kala natin, kung na-vaccinate na tayo, pwede na tayo lumabas. Tapos nagkaroon ng Delta variant. Hindi na natin masabi. Dahil tayo parang kulong. I don't want to say kulong ulit, but you're in your little bubble. Nandito na naman tayo sa maliit na bubble natin. Right? And I think that there has been parang third time's a charm. Di ba? Pangatlo beses. Alam na natin yung proseso na anong ginawa natin from part 1 tsaka part 2. Ngayon, part 3 na. Right? Sana man tapos na trilogy lang. Hindi na tayo umabot pang-apat.
Kaso baka mamaya parang series ng Game of Thrones yan. Parang GOT.
Parang as long as you're secure with regards to operations, yung parang you have channels, you're not relying on one channel of revenue. Right? So if ever sabihin lang natin, if your network is neighborhood mo lang, parang kunyari, you're on a smaller scale, mga kapitbahay mo doon, at least alam mo consistent na meron kayong, that you're offering a consistent product that people are looking for that will tide you every day. Now, if you're parang, let's say, a larger company na madami kang mga chains, na madami kang mga branches, that's a whole different story. That's a different story all to itself.
Okay, thank you so much, Eric, for sharing your insights to Open for a Business, and I would also like to thank our partner Globe Business for arranging this interview. Cookie, Miss Sarah, and Miss Gail of Globe Business for arranging this interview with the COO of Conlin's Coffee, Mr. Lloyd Eric Lim. Open for Business will be back. Stay with us.
Factual,
We have to defeat the virus everywhere.
timely information, balanced, not only in the country,
No matter who
but
you voted
also
for,
abroad.
I'm certain of one thing.
Interviews that people need to know. Watch Aguila Pilipinas, a 1-hour newscast of reports coming from regional hubs in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Know the important updates in Asia in ASEAN in Focus. Track the latest stories in the provinces in Aguila Provincia.
Sa mga taga-Iloilo at Antique, mapiyang
Tune into Mata ng Agila, the evening primetime news program of Net25. Balanced and objective, Mata ng Agila covers national and international issues, tackles news on business, health, science, and technology, entertainment, sports and human interest features, and current events. And Eagle News International
On
delivers
tonight's
the latest
headlines.
global reports, impartial, accessible, and up-to-date. It brings to fore EBC's rich international scope and access to valuable information streams.
Well, thank you to explain our health outdoor
Catch these programs on Net25. You can also watch our news programs through eaglenews.ph and Eagle News Facebook page and YouTube channel. Samahan sina Wedge Kujamat,
Itong balitang panggising sa ulo ng mga balita.
Apple David,
sa 60 katao ang isinugod sa ospital.
Phoebe Publico
Economic sabotage ang mga tiwaling negosyante.
at Cristel Fesalbon
pagpresyo ng gulay. Makakausap natin
Para ihatid sa inyo ang mga kaganapan at pangyayari sa bansa at sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo. Mga napapanahong isyu ng bayan. May balitang sports, entertainment at iba pang kaalaman. Simula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 5 ng umaga sa paborito nyong morning show, Pambansang Almusal, dito sa Net25.
Pambansang Almusal.
There you have it. As much as it is vital that we keep going through trials headstrong, especially in entrepreneurship, it is also vital that we acknowledge the reality we are faced with the pandemic once again setting restrictions and putting ceilings to our objectives day by day. Let's view these ceilings as levels to help us power through this pandemic together. Maraming salamat sa inyong panonood ng OFB, and thank you to our guest, Mr. Eric Lim, and to our partner, Globe Business. Samahan ninyo kaming muli sa Open for Business sa susunod na linggo. Learn more insights from CEOs, thought leaders, industry experts, and SMEs promoting business development in the Philippines, keeping you informed and open for business. Be ahead of the curve from vision to action. Panoorin din ang programang OFB sa Facebook at YouTube. Mag-like at mag-subscribe sa aming social media at Net25 TV. Para sa Open for Business, ako po si Cesar Vallejos will live in interesting times.
This program is supported by Bank of Commerce, an affiliate of San Miguel Corporation. We think customers. BMEG Premium at Protect Plus Gold. Sama-sama sa laban, walang iwanan.
It looks like a factory.